Now it's just gone lunchtime. This is the third and final hour of All Angles here on eNCA. Good afternoon. I'm Mfundo Mabalane. Now we've been following numerous stories for you throughout the day, throughout the course of the day rather. Many have had developments, so if you've just joined us, here's how far those stories have advanced at lunchtime. Now, our reporters Aviwe, Mtila, Manqoba, Mchunu and Ronald Masinda are on the ground for us. Aviwe, let's start with you. The ANC NEC is having a meeting on how the party can adopt the party's organizational reports ahead of the all-important elective conference this December. Just tell us about this.
Well, Mfundo, it's a final checks and balances ahead of that December elective conference of the African National Congress. The NEC, that's the highest decision-making body between conferences, meeting for the last time at NESREC. That's the very same venue, in fact, that will be holding the elective conference in December. So they're just checking, for example, whether all branches have set down for their BJMs, if they meet their threshold, an indication, in fact, that we already have from Paul Mashatile, the Treasurer General, who mentioned that some 85% of the branches have actually had their BJMs and they're ready, of course, for that elective conference. One of the contentious issues here will be the integrity report, which we are told the integrity committee is set to table it. That contentious issue of the Pala issue, of course, expected to be raised there, as well as the set-aside resolution itself, the stance that they're possibly going to take forward and the branches want ahead of the elective conference. But of course, when it comes to the outstanding provinces that are yet to sit, one of them is the Free State, another the Western Cape. I actually caught up with the convener of the PTT in the Free State, Mxolisi Tukwana. This is what he had to say around the state of readiness and how they're going to hold the provincial conference. Let's take a listen to that.
We were lagging behind, but the past few weeks we were able to rally our branches and the BBGMs were held. And we are above the threshold of the 70%, so we are free in terms of our roadmap to go to a provincial conference. And our regions, 4 of our regions are ready. Out of 5, they are ready. They have reached a threshold. Many of them are sitting at 80% of the threshold that is required, 70 that is required. So we are ready to have our regions go into a conference, and after that, as in terms of our roadmap, the 25th has been set aside as the date for our provincial conference.
All right, Manqoba, on your side, we understand that Emfuleni residents are losing hope. They say there's no end in sight to their service delivery struggles. Tell us more about this.
Well, certainly, Mfundo, residents telling us that they are bearing the brunt of lack of service delivery here in this particular municipality. Of course, you recall, Mfundo, that this is the municipality that has had a lot of financial issues over the past few years. It had been placed under administration in 2018. It was just recently removed from being under administration. But I can tell you, Mfundo, that when it comes to service delivery issues, residents here are saying that they are losing hope that they will get any services. They are saying that there are issues as far as service delivery is concerned in this municipality. I'm going to step out of shot just to show you, Mfundo, here. This is just one of the streets here in this particular town of Vereeniging that, you can see, Mfundo, just the amount of potholes here on the street. That tells you just how bad the situation is here. The roads here are flooded, Mfundo. The storm drain water system is not working. It's not being serviced. And just an hour ago, Mfundo, we're actually at one of the places where the entire street has been flooded. There are houses here where sewage is coming out from people's homes, and that just gives you a glimpse of some of the challenges that residents are saying they face here on a daily basis. And of course, Mfundo, the fact that Eskom has announced that it will be attaching some of the municipality's assets has also left some of the residents worried, because they are saying that they now have to take matters to their own hands because the municipality is simply not servicing them enough. But I want you to take a listen to what one of the residents had to say as far as service delivery is concerned in this municipality.
The water that can be stuck here, it can last maybe for 3 to 4 weeks. So there's no any system, maybe from the municipality or maybe from any facilities that can come here, maybe to solve the issue. It becomes a problem all the time, because you move out of the gate and then you go deep into the pothole with full of water. Because this water, when it rains, the drain, it's blocked, so the water comes back to the road, and then it makes the pothole to be worse.
Now, Ronald, Unago from Dansana in the Eastern Cape, we understand, has died from a lung condition that made it difficult for her to breathe, and power cuts may have contributed to her death. Tell us more about this.
Well, Mfundo, this story of the Kewanas can only be described as a double tragedy. In 2016, the mother of Unago suffered from a disability following a medical procedure that went wrong at an Eastern Cape health facility. Then 3 years later, Unago suffered from lung failure, and this led to her dropping out of school and relying on oxygen machines for her survival. Of course, load shedding added to her pain. We also heard that days before she passed on, she was depressed. She had a lot of anxiety, not knowing whether or not electricity will go off. And at times she had to be rushed to hospital to get some oxygen. The family has been asking and pleading many people in society for assistance, such as a solar panel as well as a generator. In one instance, we heard from the family earlier on, they said that Unago was turned away from Cecilia Makiwana Hospital while she sought medical assistance. The family believes if she had the necessary assistance from healthcare workers and management, she would be surviving right now. She passed on Wednesday, and she is expected to be laid to rest on the 19th of November. We heard from an activist, Mr. Petros Majola. He had this to say earlier.
Unago is battling, especially during the implementation of load shedding, whatever stage it would be, whether stage 1 or 2, but for as long as there will be power outage at that particular time, because she depended solely on the electricity, because the oxygen supply she was using has to be connected on the electricity. So the moment the electricity goes off, then the fight begins. So that is how we happened to know, and then we came in. We made an appeal to people of South Africa, because what she was asking for was the solar system, so that she would use it as a backup in the event of a power outage. But unfortunately, her life was cut short before we found someone there.